So Daniel Barenboim influenced my conducting is that with him I learned that the audience needs something to connect to, and for that creating a certain sound texture is primordial. It's the most essential and the first endeavor to create a texture in a way that the sculptor would choose the right material to sculpt with, and then decide on the form, on the shape. Daniel Barenboim says that tempos should be decided last, because you should decide how you want the piece to feel. My goal has been that we are going to give an audience, the audience, something like I said that nourishes them, make them feel, make them desire the orchestra, make them want to feel it, make them want to touch it. And as far as the repertoire, variety has been my goal. Variety because providing in each program pieces that have enough contrast with each other, pieces from different periods, pieces from different areas, and giving the audience an interest in the music, but with a combination of repertoire and sound. So we have an overall Spanish theme to the first concert. We have the Rodrigo concerto for two guitars, Concierto Madrigal, and we have an amazing duet, Beijing Guitar Duo, which is really one of the world's top guitar duets. And we have from Argentina, we have the Ginastera Variaciones Concertantes, which is really it's a fun piece. And then we have a French and a German piece. We have the Pavane for a Dead Princess. Now, you have to know that in the French title, it's not princess that it's used, but enfant. L'enfant, in Spanish, is the Spanish princess. So it's the princess of the kingdom of Spain. So there is a very typical Spanish feel, even though in the translation the term enfant doesn't exist in English, so they translate it as princess. It's a specific princess, the princess of Spain. And then the Coriolan Overture by Beethoven is here to bring a complete contrast to the whole thing. It's here to bring a punch in the middle of the performance. Right? Exactly. There has to be contrast to a program. Completely matching all the pieces falls flat. Sometimes the idea of matching all the pieces so perfectly can give a dull result if the pieces are too similar. Basically, the style in general, and that's the French philosopher Gilles Deleuze that says this, is that style is the red line that is the balance between the extremes of the contrast. So as far as you can push your contrast, the more style you have. When we played Mendelssohn's Scottish Symphony, we had 6 first, 5 seconds, 4 violas, 4 cellos, or something like this. And we were at some point criticized for using an orchestra too small for the repertoire. And then our executive director lent me a book on Mendelssohn's orchestras. And I looked, because at the time he was at the Gewandhaus in Leipzig, and it turns out it was exactly the same size that he was using. So the size we were using for Mendelssohn. Now, up to Mendelssohn, even Beethoven did not want a large orchestra. He always said, I want no more than 67. But in general, he preferred a smaller orchestra for more precision. Now, Mozart, that is often played with 25 or 30 people, on the contrary, in his letters to his father, he insists that he wants 40 violins, 21st, 22nds, and 10 double basses, and all the winds and brass doubled. So he wanted 4 flutes, 4 oboes, 4 clarinets, 4 bassoons, 4 horns, 4 trumpets. That was Mozart's ideal. And today the contrary is done. Mozart is done like in a small size.
Oh,
and Beethoven, who wanted a small orchestra, is done in a big size. Sometimes you manage to have great control over the orchestra and be very present, making them play well. Sometimes emotion can get the best of you and you can get overly emotional, which can make for an exciting performance, but can, you know, not necessarily serve the music to perfection. Sometimes, and that depends on each individual. You know, I know for me that the challenge, or I would say what I strive for, is this blend of finding a way for the emotion to reach the audience. So that means I have to pour these emotions into the music so that the musicians pour it to the audience. But at the same time, I have to keep control, like a part of me is cold. Part of me has to be hot and part of me has to be cold. How is the energy distributed between the conductors, the musicians, among each other? How is a phrase paced? Is there a structure to the whole thing? You know, is there coming up to a climax and then coming down? Is the structured backed up by some thinking, and what kind of thinking? How is the conductor thinking of this? What you know, basically, how is he climbing the mountain? What rock is he? What rock is he grabbing? Personally, I never have any difficulty having an impact on the orchestra. The question is, what's my relationship with the composer that day? You're here to implement the intentions, or what you perceive as the intentions of the composer. Of course, the score is not a document without interpretation. You need to interpret what you see on the page. It's not black and white, or even though it's printed in black and white. There is a way to everything, and there is a different way every day, even for the same performer. But that being said, the conductor, we could say that the score is sort of one big hint of what you should do.